Have you ever cleaned your whole house only to watch it fall apart again in a few days? Or tried to save money but somehow ended up with nothing left at the end of the month? The real problem isn't your home. It isn't your wallet either. It's what's happening in your mind. There are mental habits we carry every single day. Quiet habits that create physical mess and financial leaks without us even noticing. Today we're going to explore 7 of those habits. And more importantly, we'll look at 3 Japanese mindset filters: Kaizen, and Mottainai, that can help you transform them, bringing clarity, calm, and long-term stability into your life. The clutter you see in your home, on your desk, or even in your bank account, those are just symptoms. The real cause lives deeper in old patterns of thinking. You might believe you're simply a messy person or someone who's bad with money, but that's rarely true. What's happening on the outside is a direct reflection of what's happening on the inside. A mind full of unfinished decisions, worries about the future, and constant comparison will naturally create a living space and a financial situation that looks exactly like that inner chaos. Think about it. Every item you buy but never use, every bill you keep avoiding, every corner filled with just-in-case stuff, all of it comes from a specific mental habit. There's a direct link between mental confusion and money slipping through your fingers. When you're not clear about what you truly need or what you really value, it becomes easy to spend on random trends, on great deals you don't actually need, or to hang on to things that no longer serve you. That clutter doesn't just take up physical space, it drains your energy and your money. You pay for it with stress, wasted time, and missed opportunities to invest in what actually matters. What's tricky is that most of these habits run below the surface. They're automatic, like an old program running in the background. You don't wake up and decide to make your home messy or to waste money. It happens through a series of tiny, unconscious choices driven by these hidden patterns. But here's the good news. Once you see these habits clearly, you can change them. And this is where the 3 Japanese filters come in. Kaizen, the practice of small, steady improvements, helps you break procrastination. The art of intentional empty space, teaches you how to create room for clarity. And Mottainai, the spirit of respecting resources, turns guilt into gratitude and encourages mindful consumption. Together, these 3 lenses will help us break down each habit, understand it, and gently reshape the way you think, live, and thrive. Habit 1 is something many of us carry without realizing it: the perfectionism trap. It's that quiet belief that if you can't do something perfectly, you might as well not do it at all. You want to start a small side business, but you keep putting it off because you don't have the perfect logo or a flawless plan. You want to clean out your closet, but since you don't have an entire free day to do it right, you do nothing. And slowly all those things you're saving for when the time is perfect pile up, turning into physical clutter and unfinished financial dreams. The financial cost of this trap is real. Overthinking turns into inaction. While you wait for the ideal moment to invest, you miss out on compound growth. While you hunt for the perfect laptop with every feature imaginable, you keep using the slow, outdated one that drains your productivity every single day. This delay doesn't just create lost opportunities, it builds a home filled with half-done intentions, a space that mirrors the hesitation inside your mind. This is where the Kaizen mindset becomes powerful. Kaizen doesn't ask for perfection, it celebrates tiny, consistent progress. The way out of the perfectionism trap is the 1% rule. Don't think about cleaning the entire room. Just tidy one corner of your desk for 5 minutes. Don't wait until you can invest a big amount. Set up a small automatic transfer each week. These little actions break the paralysis. They slip past the mental wall that always demands perfection. Each small step is a reminder that good enough is a beginning, not a flaw. It builds momentum, and before you even realize it, the clutter, both physical and financial, starts to fade. In its place, clarity appears, progress appears, and it's progress you can actually feel and measure. And that paralysis often leads us straight into the second habit: avoiding decisions. It's the tendency to delay or dodge choices because we're afraid of making the wrong one, or we feel like we don't know enough, or we're simply exhausted by too many options. You keep a shirt that doesn't fit because maybe you'll lose weight someday. You can't decide between 2 investment plans, so you choose none. Your inbox fills with bills, letters, and emails because you're not ready to deal with them yet. Every postponed decision isn't just unfinished business. It's a small mental weight. It eats up precious space in your mind, like a background app draining your battery, adding to the constant sense of overwhelm. Financially, this habit is incredibly expensive. All those maybe one-day purchases become physical clutter, but they're also frozen money. You paid for them, but they add no value, no joy. Putting off investment decisions or delaying bill payments means late fees, penalties, and missed growth. A decision you don't make is really a decision to stay stuck, and staying stuck usually costs you. That closet full of maybe someday items is a museum of choices you never made, a physical reminder of the mental load you've been carrying. This is where the second filter, Ma, comes in. Ma is the idea of intentional space, the quiet pause that gives a melody its shape. The way out of decision avoidance is creating physical and mental space so you can see clearly again. You can't make good choices when your mind is overloaded. So, start by making room. Clear one small corner of your desk and leave it empty. Set aside 15 minutes a day just to handle those tiny decisions you keep avoiding. That simple act, an open surface, a protected window of time, sends a powerful message to your mind. This is where clarity happens. It turns a vague, overwhelming task into something contained and doable. Picture a common example, a closet packed with maybe someday clothes. Using Ma means taking everything out and placing it on the bed. Now your closet is empty. That space is Ma. And that emptiness isn't scary. It's an invitation. It asks you, what deserves to come back in? By creating the space first, you flip the process. You're no longer deciding what to get rid of in a crowded closet. You're deciding what is worthy of returning to a clean, open space. That small shift takes away so much mental resistance and makes decision-making feel lighter, easier, even peaceful. And in the process, you free both your space and your energy. And when we feel overwhelmed by procrastination and the pressure of making decisions, many of us slip into a third habit for comfort: emotional spending. It's when shopping becomes a coping mechanism, a way to fill an emotional gap, whether it's loneliness, boredom, stress, or just the desire to reward ourselves for no real reason. You have a terrible day at work, so you buy something online just to feel better for a moment. You feel empty inside, so you walk through a mall hoping a new purchase will make you feel whole again. And for a brief moment, it works. It feels like relief. But it's only a band-aid over something deeper. This cycle is dangerous. It starts with emotional discomfort, leads to a quick purchase, gives you that tiny dopamine kick. And then the consequences hit. The guilt when the bill arrives, the regret when the purchase sits in a bag, unused, the realization that you spent money on something that brings no lasting value. And now, that item becomes clutter, taking up space in your home, reminding you of a moment when you were trying to soothe yourself the only way you knew how. Financially, this is a serious leak. Your money, your time, your effort, your life energy gets drained in exchange for a temporary distraction. And all you're left with is clutter and a heavier financial burden. The hidden cost of these quick emotional fixes is even deeper. They chip away at your self-worth and your financial clarity. You start believing comfort can be bought, and when the comfort fades, you buy again. It becomes a loop. Each time your home gets a little more crowded, your bank account gets a little thinner, and real peace feels a little further away. This is where the third filter, Mottainai, shines. Mottainai is a deep respect for resources, a sense of regret toward waste. But the solution isn't just stop shopping. The real solution is transforming Mottainai into respect for yourself. Ask yourself, what's the bigger waste? Spending money on something meaningless, or spending your inner peace and self-respect by using shopping as emotional crutches? When you start seeing your time, energy, and emotions as valuable resources, impulsive shopping begins to feel like an insult to yourself. So, instead of rushing to buy something when you feel bad, practice Mottainai by asking a simple question. What actually needs care right now? Are you tired? Maybe you need rest or a walk. Are you lonely? Maybe you need to call someone you trust. Are you stressed? Maybe 5 slow breaths will help more than a checkout page ever could. When you turn your attention to your real emotional needs, you're honoring yourself. You're saying your feelings deserve real care, not a purchase that fades in hours. This choice doesn't just save you money or prevent clutter, it rebuilds your self-respect. Each time you choose self-care over a shopping impulse, you send a message to your subconscious. I am worth more than that object. And from there, clarity, both financial and emotional, begins to return on its own. And when we try to escape uncomfortable feelings by throwing ourselves into multiple tasks at once, we fall into the fourth habit, the myth of multitasking. It's the belief that we can and should do several things at the same time to get more done. You answer emails while scrolling through social media, while listening to a podcast, convincing yourself you're being productive. But neuroscience says the opposite. Our brains can't truly focus on two demanding tasks at once. They just switch back and forth, quickly, clumsily, and at a high cost to our energy. The impact on your space and your finances is huge. A scattered mind creates a scattered environment. You start cleaning the kitchen, spot a bill you need to pay, switch to that, notice something that needs fixing, and suddenly you're juggling 3 half-finished tasks instead of completing one. Your home fills with unfinished projects, little piles of in progress everywhere. And financially, distraction leads to mistakes, missed payments, late fees, rushed investment choices made without real focus. Every time you jump from one task to another, you're paying with your two most valuable resources, time and accuracy. This is where we return to the Kaizen filter, but from a different angle. The solution isn't doing more, it's doing less, but with deeper focus. Kaizen teaches us to improve systems, not overload them. And the most effective system for the human brain is single tasking. Think of it as a way of building wealth. When you give your full attention to one financial task, budgeting, researching an investment, you make clearer decisions with fewer errors. That saves money. That builds returns. When you clean one area without distraction, you finish faster and the results last longer. Focus creates both clarity and income because it pulls your energy away from cleaning up the mess of distraction and redirects it into intentional progress. By embracing single tasking, you're declaring that your attention is your most precious asset and you refuse to waste it. And when we try to control too much of the present, many of us escape into the fifth habit, dreaming about someday. It's the tendency to hold on to things for imaginary future scenarios. That dress that doesn't fit? Maybe someday I'll wear it again. Those books you've never opened? I'll read them on a vacation someday. Even broken things get a free pass. Maybe I'll need this to fix something one day. Every just-in-case item feels like insurance for an uncertain future, but in reality, it traps you in the present moment. The cost is bigger than you think. Your home and your finances get stuck in a life you're not actually living. You pay rent or a mortgage to store items for a version of yourself that doesn't exist right now. Financially, it's one of the most inefficient uses of your resources. You spent money to buy those things, and now you're paying with space. Space that could be used for joy, clarity, or something that genuinely enriches your life today. This someday mindset turns your home into a museum of things that never happened, and every artifact in that museum has a price. This is where the Ma filter shows its power again, but this time, in relation to time, not space. The antidote to future fantasizing is learning to live in the space you actually have right now. Ma teaches us to value empty space, not just physically, but mentally. When you hold on to everything for someday, you refuse to create room for the opportunities that could appear today. Ask yourself, does this item support the life I'm living right now? If the answer is no, then keeping it is an act of disloyalty to your present self. It keeps your focus locked on a future version of you that may never exist, while abandoning the real you standing here today. The opportunity cost of this storage mindset is enormous. That space could be a meditation corner, a clean workspace, or simply the peace of walking into a room that isn't crowded with promises of a different future. The money tied up in just-in-case objects could be invested in experiences that enrich your life now, or in real financial goals, not fantasies. When you loosen your grip on someday, you release a massive amount of energy and resources that can finally flow into right now. And right now is the only place life actually happens. By honoring the space and time you have today, you make room for real abundance. Not the someday kind, but the kind you can feel and live in this moment. And when we're unhappy with our own lives, the mind starts looking outward for a benchmark. That's when we fall into the sixth habit, comparison-driven spending. It's when we buy things not because we need them or because they align with our values, but because we want to keep up with what others appear to have. A coworker gets the newest phone, and suddenly the perfectly good phone in your hand feels outdated. You scroll through social media, see a perfectly styled home, and your warm, lived-in space suddenly feels lacking. Each comparison ties your self-worth to what you own, creating a quiet but constant financial pressure. This kind of comparison becomes an endless cycle because there will always be someone who has more, better, or newer. It turns consumption into a race you can never win. Financially, it's the perfect storm. You're spending money to chase a standard that keeps moving, often on things that lose value fast. New tech, fast fashion trends, anything designed to feel exciting for a short moment and then fade. Those items quickly lose their shine, leaving you with emptiness, clutter, and a credit card bill. And physically, every comparison-driven purchase adds a new layer of stuff to your home, objects that reflect someone else's life, not yours. Your home becomes a collection of outside expectations instead of a refuge for your inner world. This is where the Mottainai filter shows its deep strength again. The answer isn't to force yourself to stop comparing. No one can do that. The answer is to redirect the comparison inward. Instead of asking, "Am I as good as they are?" Mottainai invites a different question. What is valuable and meaningful on my own path? This mindset teaches us to find value not in owning more, but in owning what matters. When you practice Mottainai, you start appreciating what you already have, not just for the object itself, but for the story and purpose behind it. That old desk doesn't look inferior next to the trendy one online anymore. It becomes the place where you worked hard, built ideas, earned a living. Its value comes from its role in your life, not from how it compares to someone else's. True freedom comes from letting go of other people's expectations. When you stop trying to build a life that looks impressive from the outside, you free up enormous energy and money to build a life that feels right on the inside. Real wealth isn't having more than your neighbor. It's having enough to live in alignment with your deepest values, without debt, without clutter, without the stress of keeping up. By applying Mottainai to your identity, you shift from comparison-based consumption to intentional consumption. Every purchase becomes a confirmation of your own path, not a chase after someone else's. And finally, the seventh mental habit ties everything together like a thread running through every part of your life: the inability to set boundaries. This isn't just about saying no to other people. It's about not having clear boundaries in your own mind, around your time, your energy, and your space. You say yes to every invitation, every social plan, every work request, even when you're exhausted. You say yes to every freebie, every giveaway, every hand-me-down, every "you can have this if you want it." You're afraid of missing out, afraid of disappointing others, or you simply don't have a strong inner filter to decide what deserves to enter your life. The consequences show up instantly in your home and in your finances. A house without boundaries becomes a storage unit for other people's stuff. Old furniture from your parents, clothes your friends don't want anymore, promotional gifts you never asked for. Every item is a physical reminder of a boundary you didn't set. Financially, weak boundaries lead to spending more than you can afford on social outings, saying yes to business opportunities that don't align with you, or simply lacking the discipline to protect your budget from outside demands. The link between personal boundaries and financial health is direct. If you can't protect your time and energy, you'll struggle to protect your money too. This is where we return to the very first filter, Kaizen. The solution isn't forcing yourself to say no to everything at once. That only creates anxiety. Kaizen teaches the power of the smallest, most consistent no. You don't need a dramatic transformation. Start tiny. The next time someone offers you something, pause and ask yourself, does this belong in the life and the space I'm trying to create? If the answer is no, practice a gentle refusal. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I don't have space for it right now. That small action is the beginning of a boundary. The same goes for your finances. Pick one small rule. Maybe it's, I won't buy anything over $100 without sleeping on it. Or, I'll say no to one social plan each week so I can use that time for financial planning. Each small no strengthens your boundary muscles. It gets a little easier each time. And over time, these tiny boundaries add up. They become a protective fence around your time, your energy, your space, and your money. You begin to feel that these things deserve protection, that you deserve protection. You realize that every no to something that doesn't align is really a bigger yes to your peace, your clarity, and your true prosperity. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential. It's how you create a life lived with intention, a life where the outer world no longer mirrors inner chaos, but reflects the calm and clarity you've been building from within. Now that you've seen all 7 habits, don't try to change everything at once. Give yourself 30 days and work with the 3 filters, one at a time. In week 1, focus on Kaizen. Each day, make one tiny 1% improvement. Something small in your spending or in the way you tidy your space. In week 2, practice Ma. Create physical space every day. An empty drawer, a clear corner of your desk. A moment of quiet that lets clarity in. In week 3, live with Mottainai. Every time you feel the urge to buy something, ask yourself, is this truly an act of respect for myself and my resources? Measure your progress not just by how much money you save, but by how much peace you feel returning to your life. Tell me in the comments which habit you're going to start with. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next step on this journey.